Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We're your hosts, OG Molly Mall, Khalil Almighty, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Almighty
Reality show.
Show. Welcome back, everybody. As always, another amazing day with amazing people talking about the main topic of the month. It's Women's History Month. And it's a lot of stuff going on in this world that affects women, that affects you, affects me. And who better to talk about that stuff with? None other than a returning guest who is so smart, very knowledgeable in this field. None other than Miss Janell Mason. Give it up for her.
Hello, y'all. Thank you so much for having me. For the people who don't know, I'm Janelle. These are my friends from Mizzou. They have gotten me through a lot at Mizzou, and it's so happy to be on this call with them. But yeah, I'm ready to dive in. You already know me. I love to talk. So let's get to yapping.
Let's get to it. So, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on in the world. A lot of stuff went down since last time me, you, and Mariah talked, with our episode. We mainly focused on Israel and Palestine, what's been going on with that whole genocide going on over there. But since then, a lot has changed, I guess you could say. And some things haven't changed, whether it's with Israel still committing atrocities over there, whether it's with the election, so much went on. First and foremost, you know, what was your reaction when Donald Trump won the election?
Yeah, I really was just like, I really couldn't believe it. Like, first off, when I saw the demographics, I was just like, okay, this is actually insane. Like, and it goes back to it goes back to, a lot of people are always talking about how Black people, we are the main like contributors, or we're the reason why something goes either way. But Black people, we did our part, like 90%, even Black men too. That we got rid of that whole myth of like Black men don't vote as well, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So it was just like, no, we did our part. And so we need to be looking at these other races and understanding why they didn't vote correctly, or even if there was a correct way to vote. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I have a lot of sorry, I have a lot of
Are you
opinions on
good?
like what like both parties, the Democrat and the Republican Party. I actually, the day of, I still was going back and forth thinking if I should do third party or if
Mm-hmm.
I should do Democrat, because I also did not like the way the Democrats was running too.
How they pushing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I feel like, not to say it's good that Trump is in office, but I feel like he's going to show that the United States is we're in the hell that we're living in. And I feel like with him, that's when people are actually like, okay, this stuff is going bad. Stuff is going bad. But like I
We
feel
need to
like if
get
you
this
would have
shit
had
together.
Kamala, people who still have this hope of like, oh, America is the best.
Because
And
Mm-hmm.
she do things behind the scenes.
yes, yes, I agree. I agree. So I'm like, I feel like the United States, we're gonna get what we deserve right now, but every empire must fall
Yep.
before we build up and we have like before we have
Greatness.
change.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I feel like, it all started with Star Wars when that empire had, fallen and all that different stuff. But going
Yeah.
back to the demographics, it was insane to say the slightest that the Latino voters majority voted for Trump. Like he's not gonna stand on business. The Indians voted for Trump. Chinese voted for Trump.
Yep.
Y'all know he hate each and every single
Every
one of
single one of
y'all
y'all.
countries.
yeah, yeah.
Native Americans voted for who? Like y'all just don't know ball at this point. Like what's not registering? He
Yeah,
shows you over and over again. He's a man of his word. He gonna make this shit happen.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then when he do it, everybody in shock. Everybody
Oh.
like, I voted for the wrong person. No shit.
No.
No, what
two
like
weeks later, people are like, "So what is a tariff? How can I
Yeah.
how can I revote for the
how can
election?"
I revoke? You got all these business owners that's like, damn. And it is not even a Republican party.
It's
And
not.
it's a conversation for another. It's what is it called? Oligarchy or something?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
My nigga showed up to the what is it called? And not the impeachment.
The last address, Biden, he was like, yeah.
He
So
showed
he
up with
said,
every single CEO on his
"Oh,
tip.
the inauguration." Yep.
Apple, Amazon.
oh
He
yes,
said,
yes.
Elon, anybody you need, I got half of the richest people in the world right here with me.
Exactly.
Say something. Look at me wrong. I'm shutting this shit down.
Exactly. And what
Instantly.
has he been doing since January 20th? It's only been 2 months, y'all. And they said he signed over like 90 executive orders. He has like the most signed executive orders in the first 100 days of any presidency.
Which is
So
crazy.
And how
he's
many have
been
supported
doing.
the people that have supported him?
But you said what?
How many of them things that he signed has supported the people that has
Voted
supported
for
him?
him.
How many of them
None.
have supported the rural Americans? None. The
Yeah.
farmers hate it because why? Bill Gates buying up all their land right now because
Yeah.
they can't work. They ain't got the immigrants to help them out in their fields. So who they got? They trying to sell their land now because they can't do shit.
You're right. You're right. It's really messed up. I don't understand how we let this happen again. And then he
Not
about to.
us. We don't ball.
We
Like I'm glad that we showed up. We showed out. We still had a small percentage that still a little lost in the sauce or whatever. But it's just like damn.
But then that also shows too, like, intersexuality too, of being a Black woman. And did people not vote for Kamala because she was a Black woman? Or did they not vote for her because they truly thought Trump was the better candidate? And it's just like, even too, people like to talk about President Obama when he won, that he had the most, like, he beat Bush like out by the land, right? Was it
Yeah. It
he
was
beat him out by like
yeah.
the
John
landslide.
McCain, yeah.
McCain, yeah.
McCain, yeah, sorry. He beat him out by like by a landslide, but he was also a man too, so he still got like the man.
The misogyny
And
didn't
you
play a
had
part.
Hillary.
Yes, yeah. We had Hillary too, who also is bogus. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like it was so many people when her campaign was going on, Trump, like, you saw it back to back, him talking about grabbing people by the, all this stuff. And then all you heard from Clinton was some emails. And still everybody was like, yeah, I have to vote for Trump. Like, and
A
I'm just like,
convicted felon.
Man.
Convicted felons cannot even vote in all states.
can't even vote for a president. Can't even vote for a president. But
And
we
you
have
got a convicted felon that is president.
yeah.
That make sense.
Make it make sense. And not even just like one felony or two. Was it like 34?
Yeah, like multiple.
34. Like that's Braun numbers at that point, to be very real. Strength of
And then
schedule is
everybody else in his
crazy.
circle as well is
Yeah.
like just evil. Like,
So when it comes to like you were mentioning, you were sort of indecisive between third party or Democrat. And both of you all said that you all didn't like how Democrats were basically pushing their candidates. If anything, what do you feel like they did wrong? And do you feel like they will actually improve on things? Or do you feel like things would have been different? Like how you were mentioning, things were still going on behind the scenes, but people will be like, oh, yay, Kamala, we still got hope, yada, yada, yada. Um, do you basically feel like Democrats went about it the wrong way? And would it essentially be different if they were in office?
um, I guess, yeah, I can go first. Like, they didn't, we especially a lot of pro-Palestine supporters, they were been saying that we need to get Biden off. Like, from the beginning, we kept saying that. Kamala did not run her campaign until like a month and like 15 days before the whole thing. And it's just like, y'all really don't care then, because the fact that y'all just put a new candidate in a month before the election, like a couple months before the election, is insane itself. But I think that Kamala, she ran definitely a way better campaign than Trump, for sure. And she did a lot with the little time she had.
Right.
But she still even if you kind of looked at the ideologies and stuff, she was still upholding saying that, you know, we need to have the best army and the best defense in the world. Uh, it was still some of the same things or the same ideas that was following. And I also like to say too that like Project 2025, everybody was talking about it, but Project 2025 is when they want stuff to end. That's not when the campaign started. That's when they want everything to be sealed and delivered. And so a lot of what the current administration is doing, it couldn't have been done without the previous administration setting them up for that either. So yeah, like I think it's a two-way street. The reason why the Democrats didn't do as well, but I feel like they just don't want to. They didn't want to win at this point. Like they didn't care to win.
I agree, definitely because everybody knew. I'm at home on my couch and I know Biden's mental state. So you telling me that the niggas in the office, the congressmen, the senates, the House of Representatives that saying, "Hey, we want you to come back," they didn't know his mental state? Cap. Why are they waiting that long to put this woman up, you know, for people to vote for her? And it's like she ain't even got enough. She ain't got enough time. She ain't got enough way to influence. Trump been putting this shit in stone since that nigga left.
Yes. Since the insurrection, since January 20th, the last.
He got slogans instilled in people's minds and everything. And it's just like she got 1 month. Everybody like, I don't know. It would have been way worse if it was somebody that wasn't the vice president. Because it's like, who are they?
Exactly.
And then like you were saying, you know, with the values and the goals and all the different stuff, a lot of it you could look at it and say, you know, she's just taking over for what Biden was saying and all the different stuff. But still, some of it is just like, you know, I don't know. One thing I will say, there was no bad press on Kamala. The bad press, you know, definitely was on Biden, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, what could you say about her? That leads me to wonder, will she be coming back one day?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that this election showed us is that racism and misogyny is very alive and is very prevalent. Not saying that it went anywhere, but
madness and badness.
It's in everybody's face now. It's not subtle like it used to be, especially during, you know, the pandemic where everybody was fake woke. Every company wanted to put Black Lives Matter on their products and stuff like that. But this election showed that people still don't give a damn about minorities. They don't give a damn about anybody who are being oppressed.
Yeah.
They just want to get theirs and dip. They don't care who they got to trample. They don't care who's in the way. You know. And with all that, you know, speaking of people who don't give a damn, one thing that we witnessed, which is the first time in history, but that's not saying much with Trump in office, is us officially having a billionaire run this country. Not just Trump, but Elon Musk.
Don't get me started. Please don't get me started on something.
First and foremost, like when it comes to just Musk in general, how do you feel like we could actually, do you feel like we could even get him out of office now? Like, do you feel like it's too late? Do you feel like he's embedded himself too deep within the government?
Somehow, some way, if you were to remove that man, it does not matter. He is in too many motherfuckers' pockets. He has too much pull. Even if you were to remove him from anything, he would still play around and still have his play.
Yeah.
If he wants, he could cut all contracts with the military, and then damn. That's what they don't want to happen. That's what they're not telling y'all. SpaceX, what is it? Tesla, all of that. They don't want him to do anything, because if anything go wrong, you know, then they relying back on Lockheed and all that different stuff. It's like, yeah, they could sign some contracts with Lockheed, but it's gonna take years to get where, you know, SpaceX is. It's gonna take NASA years to get where SpaceX is. So you're just gonna have to wait. And it's like, do they want to wait? No, ain't nobody patient. And all these government officials got money in the game, skin in the game too. They not trying to risk none of that.
Yep. They're lobbying, they're APAC funded. Yeah, everything Jamal just said. Like, I don't like Elon at all. Like, you should, y'all know me. Y'all know me. If y'all ever heard me talk good, y'all never heard me talk good about that man. Never.
Yeah.
Even if you want to talk about like Teslas and of how it's so revolutionary and it's the first electric car and stuff like that. But like, no, we can get into it for real of how the only reason people like to assume that people who are rich or are wealthy or have money is because they're actually intelligent, and that's not the case at all. Like most of the main indicators of entrepreneurial success is people who already have wealth within their families, first off.
Yep.
And the only way just within the last 100 years that you can occur wealth like that is through exploitation, is through exploiting other people, whether that's through labor, whether that is through materials that God has given us in this precious world, whether that's like in any form. So the fact that people always assume that Elon's just this smart man that has came up with this great technology and stuff, it's especially as an engineer, it like really pisses me off because he did not do any of that. Like he is just because we're also going to an electric cars being like the number one thing and how that's supposed to help greenhouse emissions and stuff like that. It's actually not because we are still exploiting people at astronomical rates to get these mining to get
lithium batteries.
Yep. Yes, we're still doing other terrible things to get these things. So the best way I feel if you want to help with climate change or decreasing is literally public transportation. We need to be investing into public transportation systems and like making it accessible and affordable for everybody. But they don't want that. They want to promote individualism and promote, oh, I have my fancy car, this is my car, whatever. And this is where we're at. But I don't like Elon. Elon is not that smart. And today, all of his most of his Cybertrucks literally was just
recalled for the
so,
materials.
And the Cybertruck is the only thing that he actually has been scientifically on. Like that's the only thing that he's like the Tesla, he didn't do nothing with that scientifically. But this one, the one that he actually, he tried to put his pussy in, he didn't do shit with.
Yeah.
So how about that? Yeah.
How about we still don't have that autonomous driving that nigga keep talking about?
Man.
Every time he cut that shit on, somebody died.
No, for real. Like, what's going on?
You still got cars blowing up. And I'm not gonna say, I'm happy that, people are setting his dealerships and all that shit on fire. It's crazy, but it's just like you get what you get, man.
Real life.
I know it seems like Elon is like living the life right now and he's the big build, but like no, I truly feel like people who are that evil, even Trump, they're going to get what they deserve. Like just even look at Trump's head, like look at the back of his head for real. Like
look at Elon, bro.
Look at how he built.
Are you judging another way another man built?
He built terrible. Like he's built like this is a very unique build. Like I wish I'm gonna edit it to where it shows this dude like how he built. Very weird.
When he does the star, when he
like
like
an upside down Christmas.
Look at his face, bro. Like,
yeah, he's not, and that's another thing. He's literally genetically modifying. Like he has like 12 children right now, and if you think about it, most of them he tried to make the males. Like he tried to make most of the males. Like he's trying to start his own little crazy. But yeah, I don't like him.
What's with their names?
Yeah, you got like
some of them can't even pronounce, honestly. Some of them are numbers.
Like,
they get it, they gonna get bullied, bro.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let them put them in Morgan Park, see what happens.
Oh, they gonna be hating black people even more.
The teacher gonna be like, motherfucker, what's this damn name right here?
Oh no! Oh my gosh, that's another thing as a sub. Oh my god, I be like, before I say their names, I say do not do too much for real. Like I don't know y'all names. Like don't do too much because I be messing they shit up. Not gonna lie.
Just got to put it out there on me. But no, with Elon and Trump both in office, basically dismantling the government. Do you feel like the system is broken, or do you feel like it's being used how it's supposed to be used?
Yeah. Yes, to both of them. I feel
Hmm.
like the system is broken and it
Hmm.
definitely it's supposed to be that way.
Hmm.
It's supposed to be only for a certain group of people to succeed. And
Hmm.
I think it's doing
Exactly
very
that.
yeah, at succeeding in that way. But like I said, every empire must fall. So as you can see, people are kind of waking up and realizing, but it's like some people they will literally be like, "Oh, I hate the way this is going. Um I hate that the grocery prices are this way and stuff like that." But then when you try to tell them like why that's happening or like, Trump or like the way that capitalism is running, that's literally the reason why. It's like, oh well, no, I don't like socialism. I don't like communism. I don't like, but these are the things that literally like has
Yeah,
kept alive, high key. But
the
like
highest of the keys.
so it's like it's still kind of crazy to me because people are still brainwashed to think that certain ideals are not going to work
Hmm.
when there's been proof to show that if we think about it or go about it this way, it could definitely help us come together towards common goals. But yeah, no, this system is made to divide us, is made to um have one group of people, whether that's white people, whether that's rich people, it's made for them to succeed and to benefit from it. So it's doing well, but even just capitalism in general. So I feel like that is the main problem.
Hmm.
Capitalism, main problem. Misogyny, racism. Those are catalysts to keep capitalism going. But capitalism is the main problem. And once we realize that we, as the workers, as normal regular class people, once we realize that we have to come together and like literally get rid of the rich and like literally eat the rich, like
Hmm.
that's when stuff is going to start that's when stuff's gonna start to change. But like have like just like how this election was though, it's just kind of crazy. Like people still
And
are
you got
Really?
a
not
lot
there
of
yet.
people, a lot of people that don't want to put their neck on the line.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I love my job. I love my boss. Let me
yeah.
Right.
go.
Or do they really though? Or
Right.
they're just like satisfied or this is just what they
They're
need to
comfortable.
get by.
I'm trying to provide for my family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's
Or
other ways
it
to
is
do
what it
that.
is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We can't change nothing.
That's the biggest one. So when it comes to the system being broken, but it being designed to, be like that, do you feel like this is pushing us towards like an apocalypse sort of situation where, the empire is falling, we are in a free fall right now, the world is going to end? Or do you feel like this is pushing us towards class solidarity where we are going to eat the rich, things of that nature?
I say neither.
Really?
Um, Apocalypse, it would be too crazy to happen because, like I say, it's too many factors that would factor in. You would literally need a world war
Hmm.
uh to make it an apocalypse state. Now I'm not saying a world war couldn't happen because you got
Really?
everybody edging right now. Everybody
Essentially.
everybody right there. And it's like, what's gonna happen? But I feel like I don't want to say these niggas pussy, but they don't nobody want to pull that trigger, bro. And then
No.
class solidarity, you got too many different people that value their opinion more than valuing justice.
Mm.
Um, that's simple as that.
You're valuing a collective goal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's both actually. I think we're gonna have to go through like I'm saying the empire, like we're gonna have to go through the bad stuff for people to realize like, oh, okay, maybe we should like come together.
Hmm.
But I think what Jamal like is saying, like in the next 5 years, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I hope to see that like in the future that is what happens, but it's going to take a while, I feel like. But just now though, everything is collapsing. Like we see that everything is collapsing in front of us. So it's like at the speed that Trump is getting rid of the Department of Health, the Department of Education, um, the way that he's getting rid of this stuff, we're seeing it, like we're seeing how it's affecting us, like in
Mhm.
real time. Like even with DEI, like most of my friends, a lot of my friends, a lot of their jobs, even if it doesn't even have to be like race or um it doesn't have to be race or gender based, but like even people with disabilities and stuff. Like DEI, it accompanied a lot. So
Mhm.
a lot of my friends though, they're about to get laid off because most of their roles that they got hired for had like a DEI title in them and stuff like that. So it's not, it's like now we're seeing like the repercussions in every way. We're seeing every type of disease is coming back, measles, tuberculosis, like at astronomical rate,
Bird flu.
the birth, like everything is coming back. So it's like, when are we going to actually figure out that, like, okay, nah, because even I'm seeing now a hiding, like just on Twitter, I see people more like, dang, like this is terrible, like I hate the way America is right now, or why is egg $12, whatever. Like you're seeing everybody talking about how terrible it is, but when are we going to actually like come together and do something
I
about
was
it?
I was just gonna ask, what do you feel like is going to be the main tipping point to where it pushes everybody to be like, okay, it's us against them. There's no going back now.
I feel like people would literally need to focus on the big picture instead of celebrating so many small victories.
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of the time people get satisfied once a small victory has, taken place, and then they like, okay, let's chill out. Like if
Right.
they see Target losing money, they say, okay, let's chill out, let's go back. I miss Target, whatever.
Right.
It's just Starbucks losing a little money. We did our thing, we showed our point. Let's get back in it. We
Exactly.
did
Yeah.
we did this one protest.
For
That's
two
enough.
days.
Let's go off. You know
Exactly.
Yeah.
how long was the bus boycott?
Like
A
a year.
year and
You
some
focus
change.
you focus on the big fucking picture. You don't focus on, okay, we was off the bus for 1 month and leave it at that. No, it needs to be a long thing. It needs to be a long process to actually show these motherfuckers that we the people that run this country. Simple as
We
that.
do. I agree. I agree. Do you guys know what president started MLK holiday?
No, I don't.
I want to say I want to say Nixon,
You're almost there. Yeah.
Reagan,
Reagan?
Reagan. It was Ronald
Reagan.
Mm,
Reagan.
Okay.
the devil.
So like what you're saying, Jamal, like people be thinking that like these people give a fuck about it. They don't. Like they
They
put these
don't.
holidays, they put these things, they give us a Black History Month, so it makes it seem like, oh, we're actually progressing, but we're not. While we're thinking that shit is getting better, they're behind the scenes doing shit to make us go all the way back. And it's like, that's like, I love to tell people that, I'm like, Reagan literally created MLK Day. Y'all know infamously that he did not like Black people. He was racist as fuck.
Started the war on drugs.
Like the war on drugs, like, so it's like, yeah, I agree.
Listen,
We need to like actually come together and like make sure that we stand on business. We stand on business.
hold
And
each other accountable. Yeah.
yeah.
For sure. So when it comes to I guess class solidarity, standing on business, um at first the question was, is there some sort of protest that we need to know about? But I want to switch that up and really just ask, like, what protests could we do as a people to really have that impact on them?
Um, I think the Target pro, like all these protests, it's not even just Target. Like people are like, oh yeah, fuck Target. Now I'm going to Walmart. Like, no, Walmart
Yeah.
also was
They fund
part of,
prisons.
yes, like like Walmart was also one of the people who was on Trump's campaign. Like
Definitely funded Trump. Yeah.
like we need to like actually just boycott all like big corporations, honestly. And I know that's going to be hard to do, but that's where community is going to come in. It's going to be like, okay, cool. If you don't have, if you don't, just, we can just talk paper towels. If you don't got paper towels today, whatever, and you need to go to Target, but I got some, we can exchange, or we can trade on that. Like, okay, I got paper towels, you got some food today. Like how like one of my friends, she's doing her PhD right now, and she's focused on the Harlem Renaissance
Hmm.
and of how basically how the Harlem Renaissance are like rent parties or like the
Hmm.
parties
Yeah.
that the house parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How that is
Raise
like a
money.
close, yes, it's literally connected to like socialism and community and how that is how most communities got through what they was going through. It's like, okay, rent parties, like, okay, I ain't got rent to pay this month, so I'm about to invite everybody over. Y'all pay me a couple of dollars, and now I got my rent for the month. Like, or just when we was growing up, y'all remember we had a candy lady on the block. We had like,
Yeah.
or somebody who would be taking care of the children if you didn't if parents have to go to work, stuff like that. We need to get back to just literally being a community for each other and
Mhm.
being there when people need. Like even if you like need a ride or something, like people like, oh nah, they need to give me $20 in gas money. Like some people don't get it for real. Like you gotta help people out where you can help them out at. So I
I,
definitely think it's gonna be hard because like I said, is we're in an individualistic mindset of like, okay, well, somebody didn't get it, they didn't work hard enough. Instead of
Right.
like understanding that the system put them in this place and the system is really as big and as powerful as we all think. Like anybody could be homeless, anybody could be without a job, anybody like coming from experience, like
Not
anybody
real.
this could happen to you anytime.
Yeah.
So even thinking about the big picture, like Jamal said, like sometimes you can't even think about, okay, this is just going to benefit me. Like, even if you do want to think about the big picture, this could happen to you at any time too. Like people think they're so different from others in that, oh no, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. But no, this
Mhm.
you could very well be one of those same people in those positions as well.
I feel like two things, two different type of protests. One, and it's not even a protest. This would be like a movement.
Mhm.
Put in pride, put in ego, put in vindictiveness, put in unforgiveness, all to the side and uniting. I feel like that is why we have so many people not willing to join the fight because of pride. I ain't got to do that. Like Janelle was just saying, that ain't me. That's not going to impact me. I don't know why I need to do that. But
Right.
you see, that's impacting other people. That's impacting your family members. But you ain't worried about them. You just worried about what you got. You and yours, your ego. What do I look like? Skipping work to go walk, to go march.
Right.
Vindictiveness, unforgiveness. Those two in their own.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays people are just full of those four things, and they don't want to see that big picture because just it's just too much for them. Too much for them to comprehend. Too much for them to commit to. Too much to dedicate their life to. Because why? Why do they need to do that? We're living in it. You see why.
Right.
And the second thing, I say stop working for these big corporations. Everybody that go to these big corporations, everybody that work at Amazon, work at Apple, work at Tesla, Boeing, Lockheed, all that, don't show up and see what happened. See what the fuck happened.
I agree. I agree.
And
I
it's not just
agree.
as simple as you stop buying from the companies. Yeah, stop buying.
But
But
stop putting your time, energy
if
into
the
what you're
employee's not there to build stuff for you to buy, then what?
doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
That's
what
real.
like some of my friends who especially that's what you already know, being an engineer, like some of my friends who accepted that, Lockheed Martin, the defense government companies, whatever, y'all know what government.
Right.
But I got mad. I've gotten mad at a lot of my friends, and they're like, "Well, I don't build the bombs, though. I don't actually build the bombs.
I just build a part of
I
it.
just work on I just work on the targeting system. I just work on
Like what?
like what's going on here? Like, please,
Yeah.
if you want to convince yourself that you're one of the good guys, okay, cool. But like, let's be for real. Like, let's actually be for real here. So
I
yeah,
would say it's two sides to that because I'm a victim of it. At one point in time, I still wanted to work at Boeing. I want to work at, the government agency that don't nobody want to name and all different stuff. But I saw it as being a part of the people that could change from within. Now I don't know how much you can change from within working at Apple, I don't know how much you can transfer from within working at Lockheed because a mission is a mission. You
Right.
know what I mean? But I feel like if you were at a government agency, you I don't know, you have to work there for a long ass time, sell a lot of your time just to work and do something. But it's
Mm-hmm.
still like, do you really reap the benefit of selling, your time, your effort, your energy into that company?
I don't think that's what I say is like we give a lot of these corporations so much power.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, like, oh my God, it would be nice to say, yeah, I worked at Apple, I worked at Amazon, I worked at, because even we, like you're talking about ego, like we like that as well. We like telling our family members as well, like, okay, yes, my baby boy worked for the government, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
like these companies, they take your time and energy and they spit you out. They don't care. They don't care if you stay there for 30 years because they can find somebody else to replace them. If you just
Mm-hmm.
even stand there for
Just
like a year, yeah.
just with a
If you
little
just
money.
stand there for a year, they're still getting enough out of you. And that's another thing. Y'all know Kwame Ture, also known as Stokely Carmichael.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Um, he has said that the United States is a powerful country because it has the largest technology advancement. And the reason why he said that is because he said that the reason why we have those technology advancements is because they exploit us as the workers. We're the ones who give them this science. We're the ones who give them our knowledge for them to continue to go. And they use it
Mm-hmm.
against us. They don't use it against us for our own benefit. They use it for their benefit.
Yep.
And put an example of like, how did cars, refrigerators in the 60s, how are they more how can they stand for over 15 years, but you have a car now or you have a refrigerator now that breaks down within 2 years?
Yeah.
It's like because that's they use our own technology against us. They use our science against us. They know what they're doing. They understand that okay, well, if that car is gonna break down, you're gonna have to buy another one. They don't want us to have stability. They don't want us to be practical and just like have what we need. No, they want us to be in a consumeristic mindset of, oh, I need this, I need that, I need that, I need that. So it's like that's where it comes down to me as well. Like I just my own morals and stuff. I don't want to time and energy is just as important as money.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to dedicate any of my knowledge, any of my time, my energy to people who still perpetuate or continue to do the stuff that's going to keep me and my people down. And so that's all it is for me. Like it is sad because that's why I was kind of upset with Nesby too, of like when you walk into the career fair, why is Lockheed Martin like the biggest name there? Like, and they're high.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 4 lines. People are like, oh yeah, Lockheed Martin, they're definitely hiring. They're definitely
Bowen,
hiring. Boeing, they're definitely hiring. They're definitely hiring. And it's like that's so sad to see because these kids are coming in there. They're so excited to have
they
their first
ready to
job.
work.
They're ready. Exactly. They're ready to make that $80,000, not whatever, the 100,000. They're ready to go in. So they're gonna obviously accept that. But when are we gonna be like, okay, the money is not all of that. Like we have to put our morals aside. Cause that's what who the person who ratted on the Black Panther Party, who ratted on Fred Hampton. Like it's always been the money that can get people to do what you want. But like when are you gonna be like, okay, let me stand on business and do
It
shit?
started with Judas.
Yeah, man. Facts.
It's been going on. It's been
Yeah.
going
Man,
on. We historically have seen it in everything.
Mm.
So
So
whew,
with all of us continue to giving our time and energy into the government, we continue to build up the technological advantage when it comes to the rest of the world as far as like the defense for the country. Do you feel like we will eventually see someone pull the trigger and start World War III?
man, I don't know. Like World War Three, like Jamal was saying, like it's like this close, honestly, because especially with Trump, he's not giving a fuck about what he's doing. So what is it? France already said they want the Statue of Liberty back.
Yeah.
Mexico and Canada, they're already like, okay, we go band for band. Like, if you
Mm.
trying to do that, like China definitely not fucking with us right now. Like Ukraine he told in the meeting telling Ukraine that they should be thankful and mad that he didn't wear a suit to the meeting.
Yeah,
Like, what is going on for real? Like I said, like, are we living in a South Park Boondocks episode every day? Like, it just doesn't
every
make
single
sense.
day.
I think it's closer than what we think, but I don't know. Like with all the technology and stuff like that, that's the scary part. That for me, that is the scary part is because even when the first like atomic bomb happened, the guy who created it, he was like, this is probably the worst thing I could have done. But now, like, motherfuckers just throwing bombs like it's nothing now. So it's
Yeah,
like they can, even when we do decide to, that's what I'm scared of. Like, when we do decide to come together and like do a big march or whatever, they have the technology to where they can like precisely kill us, like
yeah.
in a minute. And that's the difference between the world that we're living in now and the world that
Used to
our
be.
ancestors and the Black
Hmm.
Panther Party and all these other parties. That's the difference now is that the technology is so advanced that it's going to be used against us.
I saw a few days ago how the people of Serbia were protesting their government, and the government pulled out a sonic,
A
um,
sonic wave,
yeah,
a
sonic
sonic
wave
something.
to where it basically induces whoever is like in the blasting range for them to go crazy and for
That
them
is
to like feel extreme anxiety to the point to where their bodies start forming toxins within their cells
that
and
is
it
so
starts like
scary.
radiating throughout their body.
That is so sad. And that's what I'm saying. They're using this science against us. Like they didn't get this from nowhere. They have been building this. They're ready to use it when they need to. So
Yep.
that's honestly what I'm scared of. Is like, okay, when it is time for us to come together, they they already have the technology to. That's crazy though. I didn't know about that. I'm about to do some research on
Yeah,
that.
it was
Yeah,
insanity, insanity.
but that's
Maud,
so sad.
do you feel like anybody gonna pull the trigger?
I don't know. I feel like if somebody did pull the trigger, it would be. I don't think Russia would pull the trigger right now. If the
Nah.
Russia, I'm talking about pull the trigger to the U.S. If
Yeah,
anybody's to put a gun to the U.S. head, it's gonna be
I think so.
China.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be Canada. They not goofy. It's not gonna be Mexico. They not goofy. I would say it's either gonna be China, Ukraine. Um, I'm trying to think who else. Not France. They got too much skin in the game.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing is with European nations, they don't even have like
they
an
ain't got nothing.
army. Yeah.
So if you want a big dog, you gotta, I think somebody it was an article out there that India was hating on the US and they was, ready to start something. But it's
Yeah.
like, bro, y'all don't do that. Don't do that.
Not
For the
India.
U.S. to like go down, all of the other countries gonna have to come together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
essentially.
Yeah,
yeah.
essentially, yeah.
Especially in I'm like, yeah. Russia, I feel like Russia is just like on standby. Like they won't smoke if North Korea. That's who I
Ooh,
forgot about. North
yes.
Korea always hate the US. They always gonna be in the topic. If they see one missile go off to the US, they're like, all right, fuck it. Let's send
Let's
it
just
to
send
them.
everything. Fuck it.
Fuck it, why not? But other than that, yeah, I don't know. World War III, I feel like it's too much money. It's too much influence in these countries to just, start a world war. Um, because, technology is everywhere, technology is everything. They can sense it, CIA run deep, FBI run deep, Interpol run deep. It's like, they would know if something up. Now, will we know? Nah.
Nah, we would know like 7 minutes before
And
the missile
I
strike.
promise y'all, it's going to be one day everybody wake up with no electricity. And it's going to be like, damn, how many of y'all know how to read a map? How many of y'all know how to start a fire?
How many of
How
y'all
many of y'all
gotta
know how to
know?
survive?
Yeah.
And it's like,
How
I
many
feel
people
like I'm
have
in
a
a good
garden?
location. I'm in a
Yeah.
decent little location, but
No, you right below Canada. Like there,
I am. But at the same time, bro, I'm decent, bro.
nah.
I got my little bow and arrow. Bro.
Like
Okay,
decent. It's
okay.
like decent.
But
Nah,
nah,
bro.
yeah, I don't know.
Nah.
What would y'all say the top three craziest and worst? I wouldn't even say crazy. The worst things that Trump has signed since he's been in office.
Mm. For me, I would say cutting off funds to the NIH, National Institute of Health, especially specifically the Cancer Research Department. What possible what possible benefit do you get with cutting research for cancer?
FDA and CDC as well, my boy.
FDA and CDC as well. I'll say the removal of DEI from federal programs. Um, just absolutely insane. And if anything, people, it's always a new dog whistle when it comes to just black people or racism in general. You know, at first it was woke. Nowadays it's DEI. You know, and recently, I want to say today or yesterday, they even took off Jackie Robinson's um article online of him serving in the military. What point, like what game
Removing red tails too.
removing red tails? Exactly. Like
The squeaky ear man, not the
what
red
could you
tails. The squeaky ear
possibly
man.
gain with any of that? It just don't make well, it makes sense because he's racist, you know? So I'll say those two. Um, and then basically, yeah, I would just say all the federal gutting that he's been doing, cutting all these programs in general. You know, a lot of people, whether they're sick, I know he wanted to either him or Elon wanted to cut off Social Security. Don't make sense why. Firing a majority of veterans in the VA department, uh, VA affairs or what, Veterans Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of this stuff it don't make sense, and it's for outrage. You want people to be outraged so he can get away with some other secret policies he's trying to get off or whatnot, whether it's with Project 2025 or whatever the case. But um, yeah, I'll say those three for sure. Just overly bugging, overly.
He is, yeah, it's everything you said. Like you wake up every day and it's something that he's getting rid of. It's just insane. But
Hmm.
I would say as well, working like in the healthcare, being in the healthcare, definitely Department of Health. Like the fact that like you're not like it's illegal to report on different cases in certain areas.
Hmm.
Um, you can't get any like COVID testing sent to your house anymore. It's just yeah, Department of Health, everything you said, Khalil, like you touched on it. The CDC, the like everything. It's just cancer research, diabetes research, like
Yeah.
a lot of my friends too, because y'all know I was in the graduate program. So their scientists, like a lot of their funding was cut. Or if
Hmm.
they want to apply to grants, they can't use black, they can't use female. They
Yeah.
can't like even female, like when you're talking about female mice or male mice doing research, like they can't even use it in that way. Like this is insane. So the whole DEI for sure, Department of Health, all that stuff together. The Department of Education, like today, he just signed that. So that's going to impact a lot of people from federal funding that's going to schools for people to get financial aid. Uh, that's could potentially also increase layoffs for teachers.
Yep.
It's not like public school funding was already something that they cared about, but now it's just like going to be definitely something that is going to be pushed under the radar.
Hmm.
Of course, I think ICE, the immigration stuff
Yep.
is going on. I think that's also top three right now. Just y'all know Muhammad Khalil, who was the protester for Palestine, for Colombia. He also isn't detained by now by ICE.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to a whole thing of Colombia revoking
His
degrees.
degree.
Revoking degrees, like revoking my 4 years of hard work.
Yeah.
From other people who were like in support of that. So it's like people are like, oh, we're gonna be in a fascist like we're already in a fascist state. It's the fact that you can't even express how you say, but Elon can do several Nazi salutes and there's no repercussions for him. But like this is insane. This is insane. So I think all of it is just is crazy. Uh he's he's got rid of environmental regulations. He's uh the people in Florida and Texas, they can't learn about critical race theory
Yep.
or gender studies anymore. So the police, like the police and
Yeah.
law and order, like they don't have to turn their camera on anymore. They can stop you and frisk you anyway, and then you gotta
Hey,
have your
hold on,
IDs
buddy.
and papers.
Yeah, real life. Oh my
Like,
goodness.
For me, I would say number one is definitely gonna be DEI. I feel like that impacts a lot of things more than people realize. And I feel like what really pushed the ball down the hill was Harvard. Um, and that right there, and it was crazy how many schools was just dropping the diversity scholarships just like that. Uh, Mizzou, Moon Choi, my nigga, you're not Howard. I mean, you're not. I say Howard. You're not Harvard.
Nope.
Why? Why? Knowing what your campus looked like,
Yeah.
knowing what it would look like without us, and it's just like, okay.
that's how he wanted to look.
A lot of them donors that donate to Mizzou is racist. That's just
But at
what
the
it is.
same time, you got to think about how they actually making their money, how they actually putting a smile on their face. The athletes that's carrying basketball, carrying football, carrying gymnastics,
Yeah.
wrestling is not that color at
Nope.
all, not that demographic at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they told me that they're gonna get rid of Mizzou Black Initiative.
Really?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of the BCC.
Yeah.
And make it some universal something.
People of color, whatever.
Yeah. Not even people of color. I doubt it's
just
gonna be that.
When I
But
was
it's gonna
in
be a
the
center.
president meetings and stuff, they was already trying to get rid of that. Like that's what they was like, oh, it's supposed to be a place for everybody. And they feel like we weren't welcoming as Black people. They said we weren't
When
welcome.
they give tours, they do not give tours of that unless you are Black. Simple as that.
Oh yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
For my visit, he skipped all of the other stuff. We went to the BCC.
He said, I bet it was a white one. He's like, hey, welcome home, buddy.
No, whole time, I don't know if I'm tripping or not. I don't know if y'all remember him. I don't know if it was him or not, but I think it was Austin. I'm not too sure. It's my dog.
Austin.
I want to say from Nazareth. Do y'all remember?
Austin Pascal?
I think so.
Yeah, that's one of my closest friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he do the tour? The tour stuff?
I'm not sure.
if
I
he
think
did.
Austin was the tour guy. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
But
and then
I know
my number two is gonna be definitely what Janell said, the Department of Education. How can you keep saying that you want the children, you want the students to be as advanced as the students in China, as advanced as the student in Japan, and they putting money into education while you're taking money out of education for what? For more guns, for more bullets?
They don't want us to. They don't want us to have the tools to think critically. They just want workers for the system.
And it's not just like the education, it's the stuff that goes into education. It's the programs after school. Those are going to be the first things getting cut. And so you're going to have a lot more violence because
the programs after school, the free breakfast program,
the free breakfast, the reduced lunch, free lunch. If you ain't got nothing to do after school, what are you going to be doing?
If you ain't got nothing to eat.
If you ain't got nothing to eat, what are you going to be doing? And so you wonder why violence is ramping up. What you expect?
You expect people to go to school and be ready to learn when they didn't eat. They just can't. They had to take 5 buses to get there. They just found out their mama bills. The bill about to be gone. The electric bill about to be gone. They just got done seeing their parents arguing, and then you expect them to come there and ready to learn when they don't even have the basic things to just survive.
Mind you, the school already underfunded.
That's what I'm saying. Already got books from 1990s.
Unless you at St. Rita, Marion, something like that, where it's private, you don't know about that.
And that's what and that's what the Department of Ed is. He wants to push more of the funding to go towards
privatization of the United States.
Who's trying to pay? What is it? $20,000 to go to high school?
Rich people.
I couldn't even afford undergrad. So
I can't afford a $10,000 undergrad.
like this is insane.
Okay. And my third one is very, very new. March 18th, he signed the bill of desegregation. They rescinded the longstanding federal mandate that prohibited segregated facilities among federal contractors. So, isn't that just insane?
That's crazy.
So, I would not be surprised. This is federal contractors. How long until that goes into personal businesses? How long until you walk down somewhere downtown and it says whites only?
No, we're actually just everything that the people who came before us worked for is just literally getting stripped away.
It's literally getting shut down in 3 months?
2.5 months.
No, it's been 2 months, y'all.
So it's like
January 20th.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this is maybe off topic, but if you did see businesses that said white only and color only and all that different stuff, how long do you think, would they be in business? Would they? No, I don't want to say how long would they be in business. Do you see that as a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, one way you can see who's for you and who's not, it would be easier to go support Black-owned businesses and, circulate our money in Black people's pockets. But then again, you have Black people who get their products from manufacturers who are white. So shit, it's still gonna go back to white people at the end of the day. I feel like the only way that we could see this benefit us is if we go to more of a socialist/communist sort of system within Black folks, where we have a bartering system, sort of, where, okay, I'm gonna keep the community garden, you watch the kids in the neighborhood, or hey,
you protect the neighborhood.
You protect the neighborhood. You make sure that no outsiders who's trying to cause aggression, especially white folks or any other racist person trying to come and cause craziness, you protect us from them. You already a little crazy. You already a little, you already listening to Dirk and what's his name? FTB Duck. What was his name?
FGB Duck.
FGB. Yeah, you already listening to Von and them. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's put that energy to use. Let's, protect the neighborhood.
What about the YNs?
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I feel like if we do go back to, segregation, we could see a spark in that socialist movement within a Black community, which I feel like would be good for us in general. But the hatred, the racism, the bigotry, the misogyny, the homophobia from people outside the community will be rampant. And I think that will add a different level of stressors to us. For sure.
I think that these ideals too, that like you said, outside of our community, I feel like these are problems as well within our community too. And that's why we also don't be on the same page either.
Yeah.
It's because there's a lot of division just within our own community of how we're supposed to go about things. So even when, y'all know, I done mentioned the Black Panther Party so many times, but even in that party, you mostly hear about and I think I said this the last time I was on the podcast, but you mostly hear about the men of the party, but Black Panther Party was 70% women. And it was like even like Huey P. Newton, by the time when they did that number on him, the government, he came out and he was basically like he had drug addiction and stuff like that. But they say like he was very abusive to women and stuff. So it's like a lot of the people as well that we look up to within our community, they are still perpetuating the same things that we are trying to get rid of. And that's in terms of just making sure that we are all getting what we need as a people. And we're not doing it in a forceful or exploitive way and caring about our own needs. So
sure.
It's really sad to see though, but like there's always been division even within. Yes, even within social groups that we thought was there for us. And so that's why we're like, we need to, even, the guy who snitched on the part, like we got to make sure the people who are within these communities or programs with us, like they're 10 toes down and ready for the change.
Yeah.
Because we can't have people right now, especially in this time, that
you can't have division. You can't have doubt, because that is where they exploit.
Yep.
Yes.
And like you were just saying, when we were doing our episodes on Ida B. Wells, when we were doing our episodes on Ella Baker, the reason that they made the programs that they did, the reason that they did the behind, what is it called, under the grass type,
the grassroots
approach, under the grassroots approaches, because it was sexist. It was a sexist organization, MLK, Malcolm X, on and on, because NAACP.
Yeah.
You could barely have a higher up position unless you were a male. So I feel like, gotta get rid of division, gotta get rid of what? Pride. Put that pride aside and get who's the best for the job.
Yes.
Hold them accountable, and hopefully they hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Y'all do the damn thing.
Facts. One thing I will say, because those are problems that are still within our communities, and they were rampant back then when we were running those systems. One thing I am very confident, though, is that nowadays I feel like people are more aware of the misogyny that was going on, or just aware of misogyny in the community. They're aware of colorism in the community. They're aware of the homophobia within the community. Not saying that things are peachy and rainbows and sunshines and whatnot, but I do believe that we are, as a community, are making immense progress when it comes to just acceptance within the community, and even just the view of masculinity in the community. We don't have to be macho men with no emotion or whatnot just to be proven that we're a man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the amount of conversations we've had over the years, especially with my parents' generation, they're Gen X. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like Gen X and below have been really done really well when it came to just breaking those stereotypes, being inclusive within our community, and just being accepting of people, and accepting them for who they are.
Yeah.
We're making progress. I will say that, but it's still a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely agree. But you all heard it from us first. Organize with your family, organize with your friend. Hell, send your aunts, send your grandma, send your moms, your uncles, send them this episode so we can all just collaborate and build our own community, before things really start going down. You heard it from us first. Thank you, Janell. Thank you, Prez, for being on.
Thank you for having me.
We're your hosts. Oh yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a next time. But we're your hosts, OG Molly Ma, Khalil Almighty, and we'll talk to you all later. Only on The Almighty Show.